This is Erica Salazar with the power of Los, LOS, love of self. How are we doing today? Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about sharing this channel with you. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you have any questions, comment, share, like, subscribe. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this video. This is the introduction of the power of L.O.S, love of self. And I feel like this has a huge connection with all of us, which of course is I am love. I am God and I am one. And we are all one with God and love. And that's where we come from. And so if you ever have any questions about who am I, you are pure unconditional love. And that's who you are. And that's where you come from. So never doubt yourself in anything. Don't have any type of fear. The enemy is so powerful when it comes to giving us those emotions of fear. And we shouldn't have that. We are free. God gives us free will. There's no right or wrong. There's no judgment. It's just all pure, unconditional love that we have inside of ourselves. So I am super excited about this channel. I am just beyond just amazed. I do have a podcast on Podbean. You can also listen to me on there. I will share videos. I will be live every Tuesday. So thank you for joining that. If you want to learn a little bit more about me, I will definitely have some new content information every week, new exercises, new tools. And I am just beyond ecstatic about this. I was scared at first, and then I started my podcast, and I have really just come into being more and more comfortable with the purpose of why I am here. Like my purpose and my message that I am here sent to help y'all. I had to discover it for myself. I had to go through my own spiritual awakening. So if this really resonates with you, or if this is something that struggling with finding out who you are, where you come from, or you have friends or families, or somebody that really needs that enlightenment, that fulfillment, just that motivation, that push to that success without fear, without corruption, listening to the enemy inside of our thoughts, inside of our minds, and letting our emotions take control of our lives, which that's not supposed to happen. We are masters. We are that divine light that God shines on us every single day. We have beautiful Mother Gaia just sharing all her beautiful nurturing love for us with all the beautiful colors and foods and just love. So I have an exercise I will introduce y'all to. If you are not familiar with the mirror exercise, I can't wait to share that, and I will definitely introduce that a little later. I am going to share my story and how I really got here, how this whole thing all started with me. And I know that everybody has their own stories, and that is something beautiful that I've come into realizing and understanding. Like, I don't look at anybody with judging eyes. I don't look at anybody with like, oh my goodness, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And I know that's not pure love. I know that's something within myself. If I feel a type of jealousy, any type of judgment towards somebody, that's where I have to go into myself and find out why I feel that way towards that certain person. So spirituality that I've learned, there is no gender. There's no race. We are all pure love, one, and we all have compassion for each other. And through hard times and hardships, those definitely come out. But learning as well, how the enemy has corrupted us and how we are born into disobedience, and how that, whatever our parents or our loved or guardians who raised us, our ancestors, have put into us as that was put into them, that is something that I've learned that is just an endless cycle. And I'm here to really help, you know, um, awareness of that, how our thoughts and our minds can make us sick, how our stress and anxiety and depression that really can corrupt us in so many different ways. And the fact that is that it's not even from us, it's from what's been passed down to us. And so that is just amazing information I'm going to share, because we are one, that are aligned in all of our lifetime experiences. And if we're going to enjoy this lifetime to the fullest, we are going to do what we were sent here to do. And that's find your purpose and what we were, and that helps everyone to love themselves, because we all come from love. I love, you love, and you just have to believe that in yourself. So I have so much information. I don't want to overwhelm you. My story definitely comes with a lot of pain and a lot of sadness. But when I finally found myself and all of this beautiful, all these beautiful instruments and tools and strategies that I have been introduced to, that I've been learning over the past year, 2019, and I know 2020 is only going to be beyond even better for me getting this out, because it's been so bottled up inside of me. But this whole year I've been learning and soaking in and taking in all this information. So my journey really started February 2016, where I wanted to find out, who is Erica? Who are you? Because Erica that I have known has not been very nice to herself and hasn't been very nice to others, because projected that ugliness that was inside of me out to the world, out to my loved ones, out to my kids. And it has not been fun. But when I've really found my true being, that's where just this beautiful adventure and light and enlightenment has really, vibrated me at such that just energy. I'm just floating every day. I meditate before I go to bed. I meditate when I wake up. I do yoga. I mean, I am just, definitely in this beautiful flow God wants all of us to be in, being relaxed in everything. I don't stress myself out. And if that stressful time kind of tries to come into my life, I have to definitely step back and look at, why is this coming up, and why am I feeling this blockage or this stuck, being stuck? Why am I feeling this? So my story, I was I was the only child in years, which was super fun. I come from a beautiful, loving family. My dad, oh my goodness, I love my daddy. He was definitely in the party scene. He loved the party scene. That was the way, he felt like he belonged out in the world. And that was his purpose, just to be out there knowing what's going on, being around all that fun energy and vibration and everything. And parents had me super young. My mom was 15. My dad was 19. They got married. And then I was born. Yay. And so that's been so exciting. And my journey has been fun. But there has been a lot of struggles. There has been a lot of pain. There has been a lot of loss. And that was definitely something that I have been able to learn. And I am very thankful for learning that. And that's what I give so much gratitude to that. And when we come into, and we're born into this life, these avatar bodies, this isn't really, me, and that spirit inside of me, that divine light, that's that true self-being. That's that true self-love that I have inside that we all have. I love my inner child. I keep her vibrant. I keep her singing and dancing and just all over the place. Like, I love her. And discovering her was definitely something that I had to go within myself. uh, the thing is, when we go inside ourselves, we think that we need it from the outside, and that's not the truth. We really don't need to find love and acceptance from someone else. We need to find that in ourselves. And when you find yourself and you know that it's pure unconditional love from God, source, higher power, your higher self, and you know and you've learned that we are born with a spiritual, um, oh my goodness, I can't believe I went blank on this. Our guardian. We have a angel that comes with us that we are born with. A lot of people might not resonate with this, and this is okay. This is only if you definitely believe or you're lost and you want to believe that there is something more and greater than yourself out there. That is something that you want to find, that this video is for you. And if you know that somebody else is out there looking for that as well, this video, I hope, helps that and helps you find that serenity and that clarity on what you've been going through in your own life, in your own journey. So growing up has been insane. It was so fun. So I was always out and about with my parents. Like, my dad was in all kinds of like horseshoe tournaments. Like, he was out there doing everything. I grew up by the beach. So we were always at the beach. I was like super dark all the time. Like, and it was the 90s. So my mom always had like neon colors on me. So it made me even look darker. But, and I got made fun of it for it. And how people just, pay lots of money just to get the color that I get. And being told that it was ugly, that it wasn't like a pretty color. And that really hurt me inside. And I always looked at myself as being ugly. Like, I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't worthy enough to really see myself as the beautiful spirit that I am. And I've always been, that we are, and we never lose that. It's just, we kind of, when we're born into this lifetime, we are spiritually dead. And we have to find that path that guides us back into, our Holy Spirit that we come from. That's where Jesus, when he died on the cross and then he was risen again. And that's what he tells us, to look into that Holy Spirit, because that's that truth, being true to yourself, being honest to yourself, being true. And that's trusting God, because that's trusting yourself that God's got this. Like, you have no worries. He's taking care of all your battles. He is bigger than any enemy out there. He is almighty source. Like, he is in control of the universe. And that was something that I had to learn growing up. And so, look, being raised into a fun, loving atmosphere. I do come from an alcoholic family. So, a lot of people are like embarrassed by it, but I feel like more and more people are coming out. More and more people are saying, okay, like, my, dad or my mom was abusive and now I'm abusive, or I'm not going to be abusive, or my siblings, took more of my mom or dad's, traits, and now they're abusive verbally, emotionally, physically, whatever that they project out there in the world, because they feel so dark on the inside. They don't feel that love and that compassion themselves, and that's something that I grew up struggling with as well. So my dad said that, my struggle with, he really lost me when I was 11. When I got into middle school, I kind of started hanging out with the wrong crowd. I started just not caring. I was talking back to my parents. I was being very disrespectful. And Dr. Joe Dispenzi. Oh my goodness, I didn't want to say his name wrong. I'm so sorry. I learned so much information. And he talks about being, we awake, we wake up at the age of 7. So from birth to the age of 7, we're getting taught all these lessons, all these emotions, everything that our parents are teaching us is what's getting put into us, everything that's saying to us. And then 7, we wake up. And it's so funny because even before I found that information, before, it was introduced to me, my son told me the same thing. It was so crazy. Years before, he was just like, yeah, I just felt like I woke up. I felt like I was dreaming before, and then I just woke up. I just woke up at 7. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, everything was clear. And now when I go back and I look at it and I think about it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, me too. Like, okay. And then come to find out, of course, as we get older, we wake up again as teenagers, and then we kind of see what our parents are really doing. And then that judge kind of sets in like, oh, well, you're not what you seem like you were, because I didn't understand it. And they, parents hide so much stuff from our kids because we don't understand. We're being, we're slowly growing, and our minds are slowly grasping a little information bits by bits. Even when we wake up spiritually, we're still small children waking up into this spiritual world and the awakening and learning to understand, but we get fed slow information every single day. And that's the process. It is slow. It is really slow, but it gets better and better every single day as you take those small steps into that big change, into that big growth. And we plant those seeds within ourselves as they grow, as we expand, as we evolve. So, when we inspire new thoughts lead to new choices lead to new behaviors lead to new experiences, new experience create new emotions should inspire new thoughts. And that's called evolution. So, resilience, bringing the body back to order. You can, and it's so crazy because you can turn on stress response through thought. The brain knows no difference between imagination and reality. Nothing. It doesn't. You can create whatever you want to create in your mind, and your brain doesn't know any difference. So, we have 5% of our conscience, and then of course 95% of our subconscious that we use on a day without even thinking about it. When you're driving or you're reading a book, like I never understood. I was like, man, I read a whole freaking chapter and I forgot what I read because I was in my subconscious thinking about all these terrible things or problems from one word that triggered that. And then my mind just went into la la land, went into this space, like, am I really present? No, I'm not. And so growing up and learning that, I started to judge my family and realizing, oh my gosh, my dad has a drinking problem. And a lot of people get embarrassed by it. A lot of people are like ashamed of it. And really, you shouldn't be, because that is something that you're accepting and embracing, because that's really what sets in that change. That really helps that change to really make you more powerful, and understanding that you're not going to look at them with that, because it's coming from something deep down inside of them that they're struggling with, that they need to work on. And you could be that amazement that introduce them to that love, into loving themselves. And that mirror exercise is going to be, I hope y'all really enjoy the mirror exercise that I'm going to introduce y'all to. So I'm really excited about that. So then growing up, like, about 15 years old, my dad would come home, just, if he had a good day, he was great. Like he drank all day long. you know, whatever normal for us. It wasn't like it was a big deal. They always talk about Mexicans. Oh, you have, at the birthday parties, oh, you got more beer, more kegs than kids, like it's crazy. It's a kid's birthday party. You got more kegs than kids. But I don't think Mexicans can have more kegs because we got tons of kids, right? I love it. I love it. And there's no judgment. I'm not here to offend anybody. This is not what this video is about. If there's any offense, that you're getting from this, that's something you have to go inside yourself to find out where that comes from. So growing up, he would come home on those bad days. He would just belittle us. He would put us down. I struggled in with reading and learning. I had definitely had dyslexia. I still do. So it was just, he would get really frustrated and irritated because my dad is super smart. He had common sense and book smart. I always came to him like, Dad, I'm struggling with this, homework and math and anything. And he could just get down there and help me out. Shoot, my kids ask me for help. I'm like, I have no idea what you're doing. You have notes? Does the teacher give you information? And now everything's on these Chromebooks. So it's even, I'm like, what is this? Where's the textbook? I'm so old school. And so getting that, I held on to those emotions, when you're getting put down by the person you love so much and they're making you feel less and not worthy enough, and you feel like just you tend to go into, more of an unloving, you think it's love with friends and stuff, but then you find out, they lie to you, or they screw you over, and they, do ugly things to you as well. And then you're just like, oh my God, who do I really have? I feel so alone in the world. Like, where do I get that love from? And that's all we're always seeking, the three human needs that we want, that we deserve, are going to be love. And that's the thing that you have to get, is loving yourself. Loving yourself is always going to be the number one. And safety. We want safety. We want to feel secure. We want that security, and that safety comes from God, our higher source, our power, that higher power, and our higher selves, knowing that we are secure. He's guiding us through this with so much love in it. We don't have to worry. You can't worship and worry at the same time. It does not, that's like that negative, and it just, that energy doesn't connect. So you definitely want to just worship and not worry and relax, knowing God's got this. You're taken care of, you are safe. And then also, we have belonging. We want to belong. We want to fit in. We want everybody, I don't know about y'all, but I definitely was always a people person. I always wanted to fit in everywhere, in each crowd. I grew up watching TV, like that was my band. I had beautiful best friends that I enjoy growing up with, an amazing childhood I love so much. And I definitely always just remember those great memories. And that's what I focus on when I think about my childhood, like those fun memories that, really made me who I am. And we all have that inside of us. And so that's what I always focus on, are definitely those good memories and those fun memories and the exciting memories. And belonging is, I mean, I wanted to fit in, and knowing that you belong to something greater than, knowing that you belong to the universe, and the love that it gives us every single day. And that's what I see this beautiful world as. When I walk outside, I'm just, holy mo look at this beautiful mother nature, the sky, the sunrise, I feel like every morning when I go outside, the sun is shining and I see all the beautiful colors. I mean, I'm just like, I feel like I'm in a rainbow every day and I love it. Even when it's gray and rainy, I see the beauty in the colors, with fall and then winter and then spring and summer and every sin. I see that beautiful energy and life that God gave us, that creation that He brought to us with, Mother Gaia, everything that we have. And we lose sight of that because we're so focused on, I got to get to work. I got to get the kids. I got to do this. I got to do that. And we lose sight of who we truly are, and relaxing that body, relaxing our minds, and meditating is definitely something that helps me relax a lot more and really calm myself down. Because as I held on to those emotions from my dad, and blaming him all the time, I just was like ugly. And then I ended up having, I got pregnant young. I had my daughter when I was 17. I did graduate though. I did. That was something because my dad would, I didn't give a crap about school. I was, oh no, I'm going to worry about my friends and I'm going to do this and like, screw y'all, screw everybody. And I was really not nice to myself. And I felt like if I could belong in those groups and everybody would like me, I felt like that was my family. And I feel like we always go outside of ourselves to find that when the answers and the love is always in us already. We already have that. So if you super like, I want to introduce this stuff to young children, schools, like we definitely need that time, that at least 5 minutes to go in there and really have that stillness, that silent moment that we take, that we just take those deep breaths and blow it out as many times as to really relax our bodies, to really relax that nervous system, really get those oxytocins and serotonins and all that chemicals that we already built into that is already built into our bodies, So I was just looking for everything else. I didn't want to be at home. As soon as, I graduated, my dad would say, oh, you're never going to graduate. You're in ninth grade for 4 years. Look at you. And I said, no, I'm going to walk across that stage. I'm going to wear a cap and gown. And I did it. So I know what I'm capable of doing. I know that there's no excuse. That I know that I'm not going to play a victim. I'm not going to have that victim mentality because I know what I'm capable of doing and achieving for myself. And we all are. And we have to give ourselves that power in our hearts, in our minds, knowing that we are guided every day with pure conditional love, even though you don't get it in your home setting, even though you don't get it from the ones that you truly want it from, you get it from self and our Heavenly Father that we are all connected to. And it's just so crazy. So I graduated, I achieved that. It was through hard work because I was a year behind. And when I finally got that and that motivation and I kicked my butt into gear and I did what I was supposed to do, it was great. But then I still had those emotions I was holding on to. I got married when I was 18. He went into the military, and then I wanted another baby. I was like, I want a big family. I was the only child for 10 years. Me and my brother weren't that close. I was super mean and ugly to him. And, he ended up, I felt like that was definitely something. He ended up getting an addiction, and he got into drugs and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, oh my goodness, Erica, what did you do? And so I felt like, and then as I got into getting married, and then I was like, I want another kid. And I had another kid at the age of 19. I was pregnant at 18, and then my 19th birthday came. So then 19, I had another one. And then I had a mild heart attack at the age of 1. I got diagnosed with Graves' disease. It was a hyperthyroidism. My hormones were crazy out of whack. My stress level, everything was just ugly. It was not fun. It was super low vibration. It was just, definitely 3D. It was just enemy, darkness, hate, pain, just like all the time. And then I put that on, my kid's dad, my husband at the time. And then I ended up getting pregnant with my third child, and I was 21. And so he was in the military. And every time I came back with the same doctor, I ended up, pregnant. And so he delivered it, all three of my children. And he said, no, you are 21. You have a third kid. We're going to tie your tubes. And I was like, okay, okay. So, then my ugliness, of course, went into their dad, and we ended up splitting up and getting divorced. And then I went through a whole emotional crash and just acting just ugly. And then I put that ugliness into my kids. And my fear when I separated, with my kids being young, was that they were going to grow up and want to go live with their dad when they become teenagers. Like, I didn't want that, but I kept saying, oh my gosh, they're going to go want to live with their dad. And I hope it never happens. Well, what happened? It happened. What I put out in the universe we are cause and effect. This planet is cause and effect. What we put out into the universe is what we give back. It could be good karma, bad karma. It depends on which way you want to go. You can do negative, you can do positive. They have the same amount of energy. It's just, where do you put your focus at? Do you kind of focus on, oh, poor pitiful me, somebody hurt me, they did this and this and that to me, it's their fault I'm like this, it's my fault I'm like this, da, da, da. Or loving life, loving yourself, and accepting that you come, what you were faced into, what you were born into, that's not truly who you are. And what we face, that positive mindset that we have to really, really focus on to really get us where we want to be in this lifetime. And so I have just been really doing a lot of spiritual work within myself and really learning so much of all of this and my journey and when I look back and how I was with the hyperthyroidism, I ended up with Bell's palsy. My whole side of my left side of my face was numb, like my eye was sloping, my nose, like everything. And it was stress. I was in and out of the hospital. I had bad migraines. I would see constant light inside of my eye. People's voices would change. Like, everything was just so like, what the heck is this? I ended up having radiation for my thyroid. So then it went hypo. I do still take medication for that. But and then when my kids actually went to go live with their dad, and that was just, oh man, 2014 to 2015 was huge for me. So going through that ugliness hit on my ex-husband when we were married at the time, I went to therapy. I said, no, something's wrong. Something's not right with me. What is, why am I this way? What is going on? What is in here? What's causing all this stuff to happen to me? And I went in, I was just resentment and bitterness and anger. And so I started digging deeper. And then I started watching fun, loving, crazy movies, because my grandparents, like, I would come home and watch TV at their house, and my grandparents had cable, so I got to watch all kinds of crazy stuff. But I developed all kinds of different characters from watching movies and TV shows, and I always wanted to be an actress and stuff. And my dad told me, he was like, "Oh, I always wanted to put you in," but your mom was like, "Oh no, like I don't know why, but she was just no." So my dad never, put forth that effort to really get me out there. And so when I went to therapy and working on the issues that I had that I was holding within myself with my dad, I was finally able to release that and, start to let go of that. And me and my dad, um, he he was like, "No, we're gonna get into acting," and we did. Me and my dad did. So the last 3 years of my dad's life, we just became bestest friends. We were going to acting class together. We were growing together. We were learning through all this beautiful work and becoming an actress, becoming an actor. You learn to love life and see life differently through all these different characters we had to portray. But these writers write this stories of, our lives, their lives, people's lives, and everything that we are surrounded outside of ourselves. And being able to create that and onto film, it was just so much fun working with my dad. I saw such an amazing difference in himself, and he was super quiet. He just sat back and always observed everybody and kind of his surroundings. And then as he started drinking and feeling better and good, then he started talking and stuff. And he was definitely a smart ass. That was for sure. So my smart aleck remarks definitely came from him, and it was fun. But I love remembering those fun times more than the bad times. But the bad times really led me to, getting to know who I am and, all this information that I'm learning. So doing acting with him and learning all this stuff, like it was just beautiful, 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 amazing. I thank God every day that I was able to experience that with him. And so with that, we did commercials, we did a featured film together. And he always asked, "How do those people get on the TV?" And I want to, and we got to do it. He got to live his dream. Ended up, my dad, one of his fears was dying young. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to die young. Oh, I'm going to die young." And I didn't know that. That was something he just shared with my mom. And I wish I knew this information prior to him going that way. I had to learn, and this is what I had to learn. And so my dad ended up getting diagnosed with cancer. He had a tumor on his kidney, and then they found a tumor on his brain. And so they did a biopsy, and it was cancer. So he did chemo and he did radiation, and he was so high spirited. He was like, "Yeah, we're going to beat this. Cancer sucks. We got this." And, we were just praying and just praying, and he didn't suffer. And he didn't, but the cancer spread, and it spread like chickenpox throughout his body. It was everywhere. And so he only lasted 7 months after he was diagnosed, after he had the biopsy, everything. So we had 7 months with him, and it was not a great experience. So going through that time, he my daughter was going through mental illness as well. And mental illness is a huge epidemic, been. And now that this is the purpose of me getting these messages out, I love the movie Joker. I really do. We're trying to boycott it or stop it. But guys, this stuff is out there. This is real. We can't hide our kids from this. This is something we have to communicate with our children. There's so many children and so many adults that hold on to their inner child and go into adulthood and adolescence, everything, holding on to those same emotions and hate and anger towards somebody who hurt them in their past, holding on to that passed. And so, after my dad passed and my daughter was going through depression, she was cutting, she was going through her own emotions that I put onto her from mine, that my dad put onto me from his. From That's how he was introduced to alcohol, and when he was drinking at the age of 14, and just evolved. He came from, witnessing his dad beating his mom, and taking care of his mom through that, and he knew he wasn't going to be abusive, but and he wasn't, and he didn't realize he was. Verbally, he never abused us physically, but that verbal abuse with the belittling us and stuff, that did take a huge toll on us, and our emotions do. So we have to watch how we talk to our kids, how we talk to ourselves is number one. How we talk to ourselves, because how we talk to ourselves is what we project out into the world. And when you start seeing, and the world is our mirror, and when you seeing people react and talk back to us in that same ugliness and hate, that's how we are inside of ourselves. Even being you're the bestest person and you see somebody doing that, they're projecting that out, all you can do is just really pray for them, and just smile on, and just say, you are loved. And I pray that you find that love within yourself, and just them, even if they don't understand it or they don't like it. My biggest thing is definitely, my spirit can irritate my energy can irritate your enemy, for sure. By all means, if you don't like this message that I'm sending out, there's something inside of you that you don't like about yourself, that you don't like, that doesn't resonate with you, that you just don't understand, and you're being like skeptical of this, like, oh, F that, doesn't know what she's talking about, or that's not true. That's something within yourself. Like, why don't you believe that? What belief system did you come from? And it's nothing bad. There's no right or wrong in that. That's just how, whatever environment, whatever community lifestyle you were introduced in, that's just something y'all didn't, y'all weren't open to, y'all didn't communicate about. And my daughter went through all that stuff. And so that's how they ended up going to live with their dad. So literally 4 months after my dad passed, I went through a huge custody battle where I just was like, what the heck is this? I hated God. I hated life, I hated myself. I wanted to die. I didn't want to be here anymore, and it was just such an ugly, ugly place that I was in, but I had been in for so long, and I didn't understand it. So I tried to, but oh my goodness, then I would drink, I would black out. And my mom said, oh my goodness, I don't even know who you are. Like, it was a totally different person. It was just pure ugliness, darkness inside of me. And that's who I was. So I said, no more. I said, no, no more. I can't do this anymore to myself. I can't do this to my kids. So I always reached out. I was introduced to Joel Osteen a long time ago. I really didn't understand or pay attention. It really didn't click or resonate with me. But I would listen day in and day out, day in and day out. And it was slowly, it was a routine. I had to practice that. I had to, practice that muscle inside of my mind and really keep continuing everything he talked about every day, taking those messages, those hits, letting go of the past, letting go of all that, and forgiving myself, for that, forgiving myself for the people who hurt me, for hurting myself and hurting others that I put in that ugliness into. And just really, really finding who I was, who I am. And so that's where my journey started. And I fought really hard through that custody battle. I tried to make everything go my way. I got to do it this way. And no, this is this my way. And nope, because I wanted to be in control of everything. I wanted to be in control of my kids' life, my kids' thought, how we did everything, and my partner, and the person I was with, and I was just mean and hateful, and it wasn't pretty. It was not nice at all. And so going into that and learning that I had no control over anything. I lost everything. You know, I lost my best friend, I lost my dad, but I had my mom, I had my brother, and then my brother got spiral control and got more and more into addiction with drugs. And, my daughter was going through herself, but thanks to God, it did take her 3 years to get out of it. I knew my kids were safe and they were secure and they were taken care of. And so I was like, who is Erica? Who is she? Let me find out who she is. And so I was introduced to my own karma. I met a beautiful spirit that was just as lost as I was, but I got to see that mirror. And he definitely showed me that mirror every single day, my karma, and I got to see it. And I got a big of my medicine as well. So God woke me up. He said, if it's going to continue, I'm going to continue to give you these tests and these lessons until you figure out, why you're really here and what you're supposed to do. And this is it, guys. This is what I am supposed to do. I'm supposed to share my story with y'all so you can share your story with others, so you can look when people are being ugly and mean, you have that understanding, like, oh, not all of our opinions, not all of our beliefs are the same. And that's what makes the world go round. We're not all the same. We're not supposed to be all the same, but and understanding that is something that I am very grateful for, that now that I get to look at people and I get it back and I'm like, okay, I understand. Or I get to say, oh, I never looked at it like that. I get to listen to how, they talk, but I get to do that whole 360, when they talk about the owl, the wise owl, and they talk about how the head can spin around, because they can see everything. They see the whole, like all of it. There's no judgment in that. And then they are nocturnal. They can see in the darkness. They have that light that they can see within themselves. They can see past that and know the higher power, higher source that we are guided within ourselves is just so beautiful. And so think it is so amazing that I was able to find that I was able to, and I'm able to share that with you. And this is just so beautiful to me. And so when I found this, my purpose, when I found why I'm here, and that slap in the face, that wake up, Erica, like you have to, what's going on. And my karma, I had 6 months of being alone by myself. And I came home, I went to work, and I came home in a dark room, but I watched comedy. I love comedy. I love comedy. And being an actress, I got to work with a lot of different, characters, and vocalizing my voice and different dialects, and just having fun with it and stuff. But I definitely listen to Joel and, talk about forgiving and letting go. And when I realized that I had no control over anything and I couldn't do this on my own, that I was able to forgive myself and then forgive my enemies that I felt like they did ugliness towards me. I was able to forgive them. That's where that freedom came in. That's where it was like, oh, it was so beautiful. And I was just like, I was released. I was free from all that ugliness and hate. But don't get me wrong, it comes. So I have been, working on this for almost 4 years. February will be 4 years for me. But to get to that point, to get to this point, it has been a lot of struggling, but it has been a lot of learning and blessings. And so 2019 was really opening my eyes to all of that understanding, all of that love, all that forgiveness, and really letting go. When those thoughts come up, I say, no, thank you. You know, you no longer serve me. I had to change my habits. I reprogram all of that stuff that I was, brought into. And our loved ones, we get introduced to all that, um, habits with good intentions, because that's what we want. We want safety for our kids, but taught in different ways and areas that don't serve us as we grow, and we change every 2 years. Every day we're always changing, we're always expanding and evolving, and becoming more and more into who we're really meant to be. But the enemy, when it higher towards God, he's definitely going to pull you back down and say, you're not worthy, you're less than, you're not this and that says you are, like your lies and your all this corruption and hate. And that's what something that a lot of us hold on to. And it's so sad, because a lot of people still like feeling that, like they like being in that darkness, they like not having to, and that's where darkness, the angel of darkness, he was like, no, I'm not going to go down to earth, I'm not going to do your mission, I'm going to try to walk with them and make sure they don't make any mistakes or whatever. He was like, screw you, I'm going to do whatever I want, I'm going to corrupt them, I'm going to make them feel like crap about themselves, I'm going to make them overeat and get all this ugly stuff in them. And that's what they do. They talk about slavery and racism and all this, just, oh, it's so sad watching the world being corrupted by the enemy in our own thoughts. And, that's that we aren't the beautiful light that we truly are. That is something that it hurts me, but it's everybody has to find their own awakening. They have to find their own time when they say enough is enough. Like, I'm not going to do this to myself, to my body, to my family. Addiction is huge, guys. And it can be, your drug of choice. It could be alcohol. It can be food. It can be, shopping, money, like any of that are these small little addictions that we try to self medicate ourselves with, because we don't love ourselves, because we don't understand that we don't know, what, who God is. And when you really start get with all those tests, because he'll test you and he'll test you until you say, okay, I get it, I don't want to do this no more. I'm going to change within myself. Like, I hear you. And when you start letting go of all that, you start letting go of the masks and the layers, and you stop hiding behind, other people, and you come out of the shadows and you really come into who God created you to be. It's just so beautiful and so amazing. And that's what I'm here to share this with y'all. Like, I am just, oh my goodness, guys. Definitely I found this one. It's 1 Timothy 1:5. The goal of this command is love, which comes from a pure heart and a good conscience and a sincere faith. I feel like that's so beautiful. I'm reading more and more books. I'm watching more in documentary. Dolores Cannon, I love her. Dolores Cannon, if you really want to know more and more about, our purpose and why we were sent here and what we're here to do in our missions, like the third wave, crystal children, lights, light workers, star seeds, reincarnations, all that spirituality. I am so thankful for learning And that's really opened me up to all this beautiful stuff. But of course, Joel Osteen was always my number one. I listened to Victoria Osteen, his brother Paul, son Jonathan, and I'm just like, thank you, thank you, thank you, because that has really inspired me to learn how to trust myself and trust God and let go of those fears, knowing that God's got this and I don't have to worry anymore, knowing that I don't have to do this on my own, and when he has you in those quiet times, in that waiting room, those patient, you building that patience and growing you and growing your character, that's that time that we need, that stillness that we need within ourselves to really allow that, higher power to come in. And meditating, that's where you get that, when we dream, that we go into that dream realm and really go into universe and 5D and higher, go into, like, there's so many dimensions out there, there's so many more planets that are way more advanced than here. Like, Dolores of so much beautiful stuff, and she talks about Jesus, and she talks about a lot of stuff that's not in the Bible, that religion has restricted us from learning more and more about. And so that's why I love spirituality. I love where I'm at. I love this, and where there's so many beautiful spirits out there trying to help, that's waking up. More and more of us are waking up. More and more of us are being connected to universe and source, and knowing that that's where the energy comes from, like astrology and the planets, and when they align, surveys and the eclipse and everything like that is just that energy that is projected out to us. And I love going out there. Like, I know it's winter time right now, but feeling that sun on my, that just, oh, it's so much beautiful vitamin D, and just being out in nature. Like, I love to hike, and being like, my dad took us camping all the time. Like, he loved it too, that out. I love it. My grandpa would go outside and just sit and drink his coffee and just sit there. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so boring. Like, how do you watch TV and cartoons, But it was so amazing growing up watching that, and seeing that that's what they did. So really, the challenges that we're faced with every day, and really listening to my intuition, really listening to my higher self, meditating is hard, because you do have to, silence your thoughts and really go in, and those thoughts are powerful, very, very powerful. I did have a struggle this past couple of days with, fear of lack. Christmas is coming, and not having enough, and how am I going to do this, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that to myself. I've done that too long. God, thank you that you are in control. Thank you that you are guiding me, and every day that you're guiding my steps, that you're walking with me. Thank you for all this beautiful information and love that I am surrounded with. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so, I just want to introduce the mirror exercise, because that's something I believe that is very helpful in growing, and really looking beyond that reflection, beyond this avatar bodies that we live in, and really look inside, deep inside of, and look into our eyes, that soul, our spirits, that divine light that's already inside of us, and saying to ourselves, I love you. I love you. I love you. Until you mean it. You have to feel it. And if you cry, cry. That's healing. Our bodies heal itself. You can heal yourself. You can change your DNA. You can do so much amazing things. Guys, we are corrupted with all this ugliness. Cancer is, stress and ugly and we manifest within ourselves and our bodies that toxic energy, those toxic thoughts that we put into ourselves, and what people have said about us and put into us. That's not us. That's not who we are, and that's not who they are. And you have to understand that, and that's where you look with them, with compassion when you see that, arise, and that you don't allow their, hurt and pain to get in you. You don't want to lose that joy. You don't want to give that joy, to them. Just all you can do is pray for them and show your goodness through love and compassion for them, and say, God's got this. It's okay. And I love myself. I hug myself. I thank every single day for being here and waking up and sharing that the world's created, like YouTube and Instagram, that we're able to make these videos and get this out for all of us. And so I'm so thankful and blessed for that. And definitely, our 5 transformational, transformation into it, our 5 steps, this process that we go through slowly, is definitely stepping back and looking at the situation and not letting those emotions control you, letting go of those emotions, and you being in control of those, because that's the only thing you can control. You can't control anybody else. You can't change anyone else. They're going to whip on their own time, when they're ready. And all you can do is be 100% of you. And that's really, really, truly the main factor, is you. And then saying yes to yourself. Yes, you can do it. Yes, I'm doing it, baby. I'm on here and I'm sharing this, even through that fear and doubt. And, I didn't have the confidence in this. And a lot of us do. We doubt ourselves, and we self-sabotage back into, I'm not good enough. What age did you find out like you felt like that? Who put that on you? And then, what parent, Tony Robbins talks about this. What parent did you seek that love from the most? And then definitely, taking empowered action, taking those action steps into, that mirror exercise, taking that and using that muscle and routinely practice, doing it one time doesn't work. You're not going to receive results. You have to continue over and over. That's what the great athletes do every single day. They practice on their talents. They strengthen that muscle. Military, they strengthen you. They give you that, it sounds ugly because they're like, oh, you do this and that. But it's building that because you are more, you are powerful, and you got that strength within yourself. You're not weak, and you give yourself that enlightenment, knowing that you are capable of doing everything and anything that you know that you can do through love and that right mindset. And then, stepping up for setting up yourself for accountability, being an accountability for you having those actions, making sure you're following through. If you need to work out, work out. If you need to eat those right foods that are right for your body, eat them. Find out which foods, take your energy, which food gives you energy, and enjoy those. They talk about being, restricted. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to be restricted to what I don't want to live that. I'm going to eat whatever the heck I want to do. It's so funny how we talk to ourselves, but does that really give us energy? Are we sleeping at night? How are we feeling when we wake up? Are we going to the bathroom correct? Like, are we really using the restroom? I know that kind of sounds like what, but our gut is our second brain. Our gut talks to us a lot, just like intuition, just like our spirit guides. They talk to us, but we block it out because we don't want to listen to that voice. We'd rather do what the enemy's at us. We feel like that feels good. That darkness, that ugliness, that feels good, and that's where we walk all the beautiful, that voice inside of us, that intuition, that love, that saying, come this way. We want, don't do that to yourself. Don't feed yourself through that. And that's when you start hearing that and you start saying, okay, I'm listening, because you're tired of projecting, you're tired of seeing other people doing ugly stuff to you when it's really you doing that. That's how you feel inside of yourself. And that's something that I definitely want so many people to see and understand. I know this video is super long, and I'm so sorry that it might sound like rambling, but if you can resonate with this beautiful information that I'm out here giving, there's so many more videos that give them beautiful enlightenment that I, definitely am going to share. Like Dolores Cannon, Joel Osteen has been a big inspiration for me, really guided me here. I love the mind. I love the brain. I love how all of it works. The body, how all of that works. That's something like science is huge. Biology is huge, but I'm not that, doctor. I'm not that nutritionist, that dietitian. I don't know that level of intelligence. I don't have that level of intelligence. I just have me, and I know what my mind is able to take in and really embrace and really connects to me, that I'm able to share with you. And I hope this really resonates with you and y'all understand that we are loved, guys. We are. And it starts loving yourself. That's the only way we're going to be able to change the world. And these writers out here, and these, people writing these beautiful books, all this beautiful information. Like, I get downloads. It's insane. Like, these things, these thoughts that come to me, listening to Dolores Cannon, and she talks about, the subconscious and the conscious mind. And she talks about, UFOs and ETs, and how they came through when she was doing hypnosis, and then they would talk to her, and how she started writing her books. And so this is something I actually have tons and tons of recordings that I did recording through my thoughts, because I feel and believe that that's what the spirits have come to me. I have like two psychics that I listen to. They read tarot cards, and they talk to me through my spirits. My spirits talk to them, and they read my cards, and I get information. So when I go into my meditation, I ask questions. I ask those questions that I need difficulty in my life, when I'm struggling in certain areas of my life, like why, what's going on. And I won't get that answer in meditation, but next thing I know, I see a video from the lady that I listen to and I watch, and there it is. Bam, there's my answer. And bam, I get clarity every time. And I get my it's just so beautiful. I'm just like, wow, this is real stuff. And I'm starting to believe more and more. And that's where, if that's something that you weren't introduced to, don't believe, but deep down inside, you're like, no, there's more to this. There's something else that I wasn't. And you start saying, no, I believe there is more. I believe that there is more than, what they say we have here. I heard a beautiful saying was just like, oh, the sky's the limit. Everybody says that, oh, the sky's the limit. Now the universe is the limit. Like you're not limited. We're not limited to anything. We're not limited to money. We're not limited to, free will. Like, we have our own minds as individuals that we are capable of doing and making our own decisions. And we can't make decisions for our kids. They're going to have to do that. But the only thing is being that best example for them by loving yourself and projecting that love to them so they can love themselves. Because I'm a legacy. My kids are going to continue this beautiful message out into the world forever and ever. And that's what God is talking about. And that's what Loris was introducing, like the new earth. Like, I am in the new earth. Like I've shifted into that new earth where I see the world as beautiful. I see everything as love and pure unconditional love from God and source, and it's already inside of me. It's already inside of all of us. And that's what I am just so thankful that I am here to share this with you and share this with all of y'all. I don't care how old you are, your dreams can come true all the time. This is a dream, this seed planted inside of me last year, and I am doing it. I am doing it. I'm living it. I am expressing this love, even though I didn't understand it a year ago, 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, when I was going through it. I was 15, when I was a small child. I mean, I'm doing this, and you can do anything and everything you want to do when you in yourself, when you trust yourself, when you trust God, your higher power, your higher self, and really listen to that intuition. Really listen, because inside of you, that's where those answers lie. Inside of you, that's where they really are. Those ugly lies and thoughts of you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're not valuable, those aren't true love. Don't look outside of yourself to fill those voids. And I talk to my kids about that all the time. I was like, you can't seek love because you're going to get disappointed. You're always going to be disappointed. Somebody's always going to hurt you because you're not getting your way. You're going to be disappointed. So love yourself first. So then you know that you're not going to be seeking something else to fill those voids, because you finally have let go. You are finally free from what's no longer serving you. What's no longer holding you back. And it's just such a beautiful enlightenment. It's such a beautiful, God is merciful. He's grace. He's forgiveness. That's what you have to learn and understand. And it takes time. Trust the process. You will get there. I'm here. I'm doing it. And there's so many beautiful, successful, powerful people with them in, a positive mindset. And you will find it. And thank you so much for listening. If you lasted this long, or come back to this video, if you don't believe in this, or it's not your time to understand this, and then you're like, oh, I remember listening to Erica, she talked about loving myself and loving yourself, and her exercise and the healing. And there's so many beautiful, I listen to so many beautiful, powerful souls documentaries on Netflix, on Amazon Prime. I mean, there's so much beautiful work out there, guys, that we're waking up. It's time, and we're doing it. So whenever you're ready, it's real, and do what you've always dreamt in your heart and what God gave you. Use your talents and gifts to help others rise up just like you. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help each other, and it's through love. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for all your, beautiful comments out there, subscribing, liking, sharing. Share this, to so many people that need it. So I love y'all. Mwah. Mwah. Kiss all the time. Hug yourself, because you are the only one that definitely will love yourself. Love, love, love. God is in you already, and that's where we come from. And you are pure, unconditional love. Never forget that. You are worthy of anything and everything that you know in your heart. And let's do this together. Thank you so